Now today we're going to talk about why this will be the last chapter in the match and the goal will be scored. So if you guys haven't noticed by now, I would say that this match is kind of dragging on, and lately we're seeing a lot of the same kind of reused chapters and a few more things going on. Now it's great to see all the characters get their ego boosts, some other characters tip in and show up, but for the most part this match has to end. You know, the excitement for the match is still here, and I can't wait to see who scores the final goal, which I think it'll be Asagi. However though, we do need it to end, and we need it to end soon. With that being said, I know that the next chapter will be the last chapter of this match, and here's why. Basically in this match, we've seen everything so far. We've seen different variations, we've seen different kinds of looks, different things of how things are going to play out, and how everything seems. Now, we basically have the final condition of what needs to happen for this goal to happen. So first we know, in order for KiiNGKhyy or Asagi to score a goal, it has to begin on a case where Rin is not able to find one of them, and they end up going for it. That was basically the whole premise for the last few chapters, thinking that one of them needs to be able to get off of Rin and then score. However, in this latest chapter 292, we see that happens in that situation where KiiNGKhyy is able to be the one free from Rin. However, his other teammates are now able to jump in, especially Shido, causing the ball to go out. Then we see Kunigami end up coming in, saving up the ball, and now the ball is currently in the air. And now we see the look of the three superstars looking for that ball, and now it just says it leads up to a look of fate. So from this here going forward, I know that the next goal has to be the next chapter. The ball is stuck in the air. There's not much time left, and we see that face of Asagi, making it seem like he knows exactly what to do to score this next goal. This chapter is really good to see as well, and I also want to highlight a few things in the chapter that are going on in place, and we can see exactly what was going on. So first, it's cool to see KiiNGKhyy really saying that it's fascinating and fun to play with Asagi. He loves the play style that he's doing right now with Asagi, and he's fully enjoying it. This is great to see, honestly, compared to how far they've been in NEL. And I think this is a really good closure to their relationship currently as teammates, considering that they'll be enemies going forward after this match. But it is fun to see KiiNGKhyy finally acknowledge this and say how fun it is to actually work with Asagi. We've seen plenty of teammates do this before with Asagi, and now KiiNGKhyy is another one part of it. You know, when it comes to playing with Asagi, everyone realizes how much they have to increase their level of play and what they have to do. Everyone's been doing it since the first selection, so it makes no surprise to me that KiiNGKhyy is another one to also join the Asagi club. I love how KiiNGKhyy knows he needs to update his game and get better and better every time he's with Asagi, and from this he's having fun. The type of playstyle he wants to play, the type of football he wants to do, it only came from trying to play with Asagi, and he realized how great this was, and this is something he wants to do more often. Now we know they're still enemies at heart, but still it's just cool to see in the chapter, and I'm glad we're able to get the closure that we needed between these two. Now also we need to talk about Ness. Now Ness has finally gotten rid of his ego with KiiNGKhyy and wanting to help him out, and he's finally been able to burn his new ego into his original self. Now we don't know exactly what that could be yet. I made a video about that before, so if you haven't seen that, go check it out. But with this, we can still see about Ness and see what he can do in this last chapter. I think the last chapter might have something to do with him, and it could be important. It looks like Asagi was always trying to use Ness to be able to score the game-winning goal, and now's his chance. If it was up to somebody else right now to go ahead and help with the game-winning goal, I would assume it had to be someone like Ness. We've seen Hiyori do enough, we've seen Kunigami do his part. Now the only two other players who I haven't seen yet who haven't done something in these last few chapters is Yukimiya and Ness. And now we haven't seen them anywhere near on the field in these last few panels, but I think it has to be one of them that helps out. Ness has always been in the way, and he's kind of been lacking the last few games, but now with his own ego, he should be able to further cement himself and help the team win. That's only what they need. They need someone who helps the team win and has their own ego and desire and ups their level of play. We've seen everyone else in Munchen be able to do this, and now Ness is the last one to actually be able to fully do this for himself. I am very curious to see what's going to happen here though. You know, we've seen Rin and Asagi now, and the ball is coming straight towards those two. If Asagi really is who he wants to be, he has to defeat Rin one-on-one. He can't allow it to be a situation where he just needs it where Rin can get off of him. I honestly think this is the perfect chance for Asagi to show the world exactly who he is. To defeat Rin one-on-one once again now. You know, Asagi has never beaten Rin in a match. You know, even though Rin has his own little vendetta against Asagi, Asagi has never beaten him. He needs to beat him now. This is the only way it'll work. Otherwise he'll have lost to him 3 times now, and he doesn't want that. So in this case, he has to go ahead and win. He needs to showcase why he wants to be the best in the world, and he needs to defeat the best, and that's Rin. So from here going forward, this is the way he needs to win. This is the way he needs to showcase to everybody that he's the best striker in the world, and I think he'll do that here. I think Asagi's going to somehow pull away to be able to defeat Rin in this last chapter. That'll at least come out on Saturday, so we'll be able to know for sure early on. However though, I think this is how the game is going to play out. Now as you can see right now, the ball is in the air currently. We see Asagi and Rin still next to each other, and we see KiiNGKhyy staring at them as well from a distance. But the ball is landing their way. I think someone else will come out of nowhere in a blind spot, getting off to the ball, preferably probably Ness, and then Asagi is able to get off of Rin. We start to see a new ego of Ness, and from there, he's either able to score the goal or he's able to get the ball to Asagi to end up scoring the goal. Either way, I think it's either going to be between Ness or Asagi. You know, we've seen many other characters score a goal before, like Kunigami in the first few games, and even Yukimiya in the Munchen match. This would be the perfect time for Ness to also cement his own ego and go back to being a midfielder who also can score goals. We've seen it beforehand before he met KiiNGKhyy, but now he can also do the same. This team isn't philosophized around KiiNGKhyy anymore. It's got its own unique blue lock system where everyone's kind of behind to be a striker. So now we can see exactly what Ness is here for and what he's trying to achieve. We can see what his own original ego is and what he wants to do for himself now, and not for KiiNGKhyy. In terms of any other players on PxG or Munchen, I really don't see anyone else trying to score this goal. I think we've already seen enough of Shido, so that's not really going to happen. We've also seen enough of Charles, and Loki's pretty satisfied, so he probably doesn't care about this match. But for Munchen, I can see a few like Asagi or Ness or even KiiNGKhyy. But like I said, KiiNGKhyy is a little bit behind on the ball, so it might be different for him. But I think for Ness or Asagi, it might be the time to go. We do know that also that Ness was supposed to have an important role later on in the story, so this is also a good time now to showcase him before he heads off and we don't see him for a while. This is the last goal before the World Cup, the last goal of the NEL, which is such a great arc and a long story that we've had for like the last 2 years now, so this is the best way to cement it. I think for Asagi, his best moment is now. If he doesn't catch it right now, it'd be hard to catch it on later on. He needs to be the #1 striker going forward into the World Cup to be able to get closer to Noah and find an ideal that can win against him. He has to do it right now. He cannot wait any longer. And from this point, he has to go ahead and go on and show why he wants to be the best. Asagi's already stated that he wants to defeat Rin in this 4-meter space. Rin has put Asagi in a complete shutdown and lockdown mode, and he has no plans of him scoring the goal. I think Rin would rather someone else score the goal for them to lose than Asagi for them to score the goal. He keeps picking Asagi every time, and he doesn't want anyone else close to Asagi to score this goal. He'd rather it be someone else completely than Asagi. That way he could say at least it wasn't on him. This kind of brings me flashback back to the second selection when Asagi scored a goal against Rin using a back heel flick shot. This kind of brings me the same vibes. Asagi needs to be able to win in this 4-meter space against Rin. That's the only way he'll score. Otherwise, someone else on this team is scoring the goal for Munchen. Or no one else is scoring at all and PxG's wins. We'll see though. But I think for this, Asagi needs to come up with a way to defeat Rin. He needs something that'll put him above someone else. He needs to think faster than Rin. Come up with an idea that even Rin can't think of. KiiNGKhyy even said himself too, that the only way to defeat Rin is by overcoming his greed. Now, how do you defeat his greed? What is some way to overcome it? I think the only way to overcome it is to think of something faster than Rin's greed is coming to him. And that's very hard to do, considering how fast Rin has been able to move on his own instinct. For this, Asagi has to think faster. His mind has to move even faster. He needs to do something unthinkable once again, and that's going to be hard. Rin's all over the field, he's everywhere in places at once, he can do whatever he wants on the field currently. And for this, he now needs to be able to find a way to stop Asagi and KiiNGKhyy at the same time, which he was able to do. And now his teammates are able to catch up and keep up with the level of play that he's playing at now too. So for this, Asagi has a lot to come up with, but I know on Saturday, once the leaks come out, we'll see exactly what Asagi does to showcase why he's the #1 striker in Blue Lock.